Step 1, compress the dropper. Step 2, remove saddle clamp assembly. Unthread the rear clamp bolt using a 5mm hex key. Remove the clamp nut and upper clamp, then remove the saddle and lower clamp. Clean the assembly and put it aside for now. Step 3, unthread mid-cap assembly. Unscrew the mid-cap assembly by hand or with a strap wrench if necessary. Slide it up towards the seat post head. Step 4, unthread cartridge from upper tube. With the saddle clamp assembly removed, locate the 5mm hex key fitting at the top of the post and unthread it by rotating your 5mm hex key counterclockwise, following the direction of the lasered arrow. Step 5, remove upper tube. Separate the upper tube from the lower tube by gently pulling upwards until the two pieces come apart. Remove slowly, making sure the 6 guide pins do not fall back into the open lower tube. Step 6, remove upper bushing. Remove the upper bushing from the upper tube and clean the upper tube below the mid-cap assembly. Step 7, install upper bushing and brass ring. From the bottom of the upper tube, gently flex the brass ring open and slide it up the upper tube, over top of the lower bushings and guide pins until it's approximately 3 centimeters above the top of the guide pins. Apply slicolium to both the upper bushing and the upper tube, and then slide the upper bushing onto the upper tube and position it below the mid-cap assembly and above the brass ring. Step 8, install upper tube into lower tube. Align the guide pins with the machined grooves in the lower tube. The lasered logoing on the lower tube should line up front to back. For reference, the forward-facing center guide pin should line up with the center of the forward-facing 1-up lasered logo. Step 9, install cartridge into upper tube. Using the 5mm hex key, thread the cartridge back into the upper tube and torque to 3 Nm. Gentle downward pressure on the top of the upper tube can be helpful for getting the threads to properly interface with each other. Step 10, install mid-cap assembly. Seat the upper bushing and brass ring into the top of the lower tube if it's not in the correct position already. Thread the mid-cap assembly into the lower tube by hand or with a strap wrench for added security. Step 11, install saddle clamp assembly. Place the lower saddle clamp into the cradle of the upper tube. Make sure the arrow is pointing forward. Place the saddle onto the lower clamp, and while holding the saddle, slide the upper clamp with the arrow forward as well, underneath the front clamp nut, and place it on top of the saddle rails. Drop the rear clamp nut into its seat at the back of the upper clamp. Thread the rear clamp bolt into the nut and tighten to 8 Nm. Congratulations, you've now successfully completed the V3 upper bushing and brass ring installation. If you're having any problems, please first double check that you have correctly completed all of the above steps. If you're having any problems, please first double check that you've correctly completed all of the previous steps. If you're still having trouble, please email us.